Young and the Restless early spoilers April 21st to 25th. Jack and Kyle taunt and Nate suspicious. Young and the Restless spoilers for April 21st to 25th 2025 see Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, taunting someone, and Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, being increasingly suspicious. As we always do on early edition day, we're going to start with what's coming the rest of this week. So with that in mind, on Wednesday, April 16th, Nate is quite suspicious of Victor Newman's, Eric Braeden, offer to Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver. Honestly, if Nate knew what that offer really was, he would be furious. But Audra keeps misleading him, lying to him, while of course plotting how to get what she wants and thinks that she deserves. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, wants Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, to tell her what his boss Dumas is up to and why he's interested in Winters. But Damian has to think very carefully and tread very carefully. Because betraying his mystery boss could cost him everything. So Lily decides to trust Damian, which sets off her brother Devon Hamilton, Brighton James. Abby's revelation and the Abbotts counter-spying in Young and the Restless. That same day, Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, reveals the awful fake Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, ordeal to Lily and tells her about Tracy Abbott's, Beth Maitland, twisted fake fiancé kidnapping Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, as well. Kyle and his papa Jack sniff out one of Victor's spies asking shady questions at Jabot. And they blackmail the guy into being their double agent. That same day, when Jack runs into Victor and Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, he's pleased and smug. Because he has one-upped them. And they don't know it yet. Kyle still wants to move in with Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, so his dad Jack offers that they can do it at the Abbott mansion. But Kyle thinks that's going to be a tough sell. Because Claire values Victor's approval. Which he is still not giving. And he would doubly freak out if she moved into the Abbott mansion with Kyle. When Michael tries to get Victor to drop the Abbott vendetta, he tells Michael that he will not and that instead, he welcomes whatever challenge that Jack may bring to the table. Claire and Holden's chemistry test and Audra's challenge to Kyle in Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Kyle is not happy to see Claire chatting with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, again. But we know Audra is the one that Holden seems to want. I do wonder if Young and the Restless is chemistry testing Claire and Holden for some reason. Because throwing them together over and over seems kind of strange. Audra throws out a cryptic challenge to Kyle as part of her plot to break up him and Claire so she can get her ill-gotten reward from Victor. Michael finds out about Billy Abbott's, Jason Thompson, upcoming meeting with Dumas and lets his boss know. And Victor thinks that the mystery man is setting up Billy, and he can't wait to see him take a fall. Nikki's peace plea and Jack's defense plans against Victor in Young and the Restless. Thursday, April 17th, we have Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Really wanting to have some peace between the Abbotts and the Newmans. But of course, Victor not going to stop. And he's the problem. Jack is rarely the one who initiates these now. I will admit over the course of their history that when it comes to Victor and Jack that the Abbott has done some extreme things to Victor, but most of the time it is in retaliation. He's not the one who starts these things. Meanwhile, Jack has filled in Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, about the spy that he and Kyle found and that their son very cleverly forced to flip on Victor. So Jack and Diane Jenkins discuss this. And they get busy planning their defense to deal with Victor's sabotage plans against Jabot. And speaking of that, the plotting against the Abbotts intensifies as Victor ramps up his efforts to punish them needlessly, might I add. Diane's secret maneuvers and Victor's anti-Abbott plans in Young and the Restless. Then on Friday, April 18th, Diane corners Michael looks like at the GCAC. And she puts him in a tough position. It seems like she is going behind Jack's back to try and find a way to shut down Victor or to sabotage his sabotage. I do wonder if Michael will consider her offer. Because he's tired of all this. And he knows his wife Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman, is tired of it as well. Victor is playing his cards close to the vest, and even Michael does not seem to know the full extent of Victor's wicked anti-Abbott plans. And mind you, he's aiming broad. This is about Kyle. Because of Claire it's about Jack because of Nikki and it's about Billy somewhat because of Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley. But just because Victor has hated him for so long, Lily talks to Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, about Damian on Friday. And she shares her concerns about the fact that he is in so deep with this shady guy Dumas. And it looks like Lily might be legitimately worried about Damian. But I don't think that stressing out Amy, who is going through leukemia treatment, is the way to address any of that. Michael's dilemma and Victor's relentless pursuit in Young and the Restless. You know, going into the week of April 21st through the 25th, we are going to see Michael increasingly torn after Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziade, appeals to his better angels. And of course, we know Lauren would want Michael to do what he can to shut down Victor and this whole vendetta. Or even better to just completely walk away from the mustache. Because Lauren is tired of this. She feels like he is dragging Michael into dark and shady tactics. And we know that her husband does have a dark side. And she doesn't want him delving into that. But he feels this like fatherly loyalty towards Victor that he just can't let go of. Young and the Restless spoilers. Amy worries. Amy is worried after talking to Lily about Damien. And so Lily may regret blabbing to Amy, and then we may see Damien upset at Lily that she has worried his dying mother over a situation that he is dealing with. You know, she doesn't need any more stress in her life right now. Victor is not going to relent on going after all the Abbotts. And his family is about to start losing patience with him one after another. Nikki is already tired of it. Victoria is getting a little more tired of it. Thankfully, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, looks like he's in Europe, so he'll come back probably tired of it. Jack and Diane and their son Kyle are all on high alert because of Victor, so I wonder if Kyle is going to tell Claire about the spy they found at Jabot to try and convince her to stop being concerned at all about Victor's morning in Genoa City. And this one isn't just about the weather. At Jabot, the tension is thick enough to slice with a knife. Jack Abbott has finally regained a sense of control over his family company after months of betrayal, emotional fallout, and constant manipulation from Tucker McCall. But peace is never permanent in the Abbott world. Especially when Kyle decides to stir the pot before the coffee even finishes brewing. Jack and Kyle. Father-son feud turns strategic. The Abbotts have always been known for their love of drama wrapped in loyalty. But lately, Jack and Kyle's partnership has felt more like a chess match than a family reunion. After Kyle's recent behavior, secretly flirting with Tucker's business plans and questioning his father's leadership, Jack has decided to turn the tables. Instead of a lecture, he's chosen something far more dangerous. Calculated taunting. Funny how easy it is to mistake ambition for arrogance, Jack murmurs from behind his desk as Kyle strolls into the office, briefcase in hand and that trademark smirk plastered across his face. Kyle raises an eyebrow. Is that supposed to be advice or a warning? Jack leans back, folding his arms. Consider it perspective. You've been spending a lot of time watching Nate and Audra play corporate games. Don't forget, Abbott men write the book on those. The jab lands exactly as Jack intended. Kyle bristles but tries not to show it. Their banter looks harmless to anyone else, but beneath the surface, it's a test. One Jack knows will reveal where his son's loyalties truly lie. Later at Society, Kyle can't resist retaliating. Over lunch with Diane, he makes a few light-hearted remarks about his father's sudden bursts of control. Dad's acting like he's the only one who knows how to run Jabot, Kyle says with a chuckle. But maybe he's just afraid of being outsmarted. Diane's warning glance tells him to tread carefully, but Kyle's tone carries that old Abbott fire, the kind that often burns everything in its path. What neither of them realize is that Nate Hastings, seated 2 tables over, is listening to every word. Nate's growing suspicion. Nate has been keeping a low profile since his implosion at Newman Enterprises, but lately, he's been popping up in all the wrong places. His curiosity about Jabot isn't random. It's professional. He's trying to figure out whether Tucker McCall's quiet maneuvers and Kyle's sudden confidence are connected. And after overhearing Kyle's remarks about outsmarting Jack, Nate starts to think there's more going on beneath the surface. Later that day, Nate runs into Audra Charles outside Crimson Lights. The encounter is laced with flirtation and friction, as always. You wouldn't happen to know why Kyle Abbott's been walking around like he's one step away from taking over Jabot, would you? Nate asks, casually stirring his coffee. Audra smirks. Maybe he knows something you don't. I doubt that, Nate fires back, his voice cool but firm. But I do know this. People don't strut around like that unless they've got someone backing them. Tucker, maybe? Audra's smirk fades just slightly, enough for Nate to notice. That flicker of discomfort confirms what he suspected. The alliances in Genoa City's business world are shifting again. And Kyle Abbott might be sitting on a powder keg. Corporate shadows and family games. Meanwhile, back at Jabot, Jack is on a mission of his own. He's noticed discrepancies in recent reports. Subtle enough to escape casual detection, but glaring to a man who built this company from the ground up. Kyle's fingerprints aren't on anything directly, but Jack's gut tells him his son has been playing both sides. He calls a meeting, not to accuse, but to test. We've had some minor accounting anomalies, Jack begins as Kyle and Diane sit across from him in the sleek conference room. Probably nothing. But I want transparency from everyone. No hidden collaborations, no side deals, and definitely no McCall meddling. Kyle stiffens. Dad, you don't need to talk to me like I'm a spy. Then stop acting like one, Jack shoots back with a sharpness that cuts the air. The room falls silent. Diane looks between them, her expression pinched with worry. This is what she's feared most, that her husband and her son would tear each other apart, just as the Abbotts always do when power is at stake. Nate connects the dots. By evening, Nate has connected several threads. Through an old contact at Chancellor Winters, he learns that Tucker recently tried to push through a quiet acquisition, one that would have given him leverage over Jabot's supply chain. The proposal fell through, but someone inside Jabot helped smooth the attempt. The timing lines up perfectly with Kyle's increased access to company files. Nate knows he's sitting on dynamite. But what's his play? Confront Jack? Expose Tucker? Or use this to his own advantage? When he spots Kyle later at the athletic club bar, the opportunity presents itself. Busy day? Nate asks casually as he takes the stool beside him. Kyle glances up, slightly wary. Always is. Why? Nate leans closer. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're running 2 games at once. One for your father, one for Tucker. That kind of balancing act doesn't usually end well. Kyle narrows his eyes. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I think I do, Nate says with a smirk. I've been where you are. Thinking I could manipulate both sides, prove I was smarter than everyone else. But you know what I learned? In Genoa City, someone's always watching, and they're always ready to take you down the second you slip. It's a veiled warning, one that Kyle doesn't take lightly. Nate walks away, leaving Kyle alone with his drink and his thoughts. For the first time, Kyle wonders if he's in over his head.